Deion Sanders promised to respond to Nick Saban, and he did. But first, here's Saban's quote-unquote retraction. You just mentioned retraction. Not even a retraction. His very sloppy backpedal. For a defensive genius, Nick Saban don't know nothing about backpedaling. Here's Nick Saban apologizing last night.
Little wobbly.
I should have never really singled anybody out. You know, that was a mistake, and I really apologize for that part of it. But I'm not against name, image, and likeness. I think it's a great thing for players. You know, our players made a lot of money last year in name, image, and likeness. But, you know, I told our players to, you know, get an agent, get representation, you know, make what you can make. Players have always been able to work, and I think that's a good thing. I think, you know, the issue in college athletics in general now is, you know, the whole system of collectives and people raising money to, you know, basically pay players to come, whether it's to come to their school or, you know, pay the players that are on their team. You know, we've always strived in college athletics to make everything equal, make everything the same, whether it's scholarships, whether it's Alston money, whether it's, you know, cost of attendance, academic support, whatever it is. And, you know, now it's not really that way. And this has happened in basketball. It's happened in football. So, you know, I really didn't mean to single anybody out. I apologize for that. But, you know, it's the whole system. And is this a sustainable system?
You know what I noticed? Nobody panics when things go according to plan, even if the plan is horrifying. Introduce a little anarchy, and everything becomes chaos.
Take your time. Take
you
your
know
time.
What, Michael?
Bring it on. Bring it on.
I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, you know the thing about chaos? It's fair. Okay, Nick Saban, let's go ahead and remove you singling out Jimbo Fisher and Deion Sanders, whose response we'll get to momentarily. Let's remove that. So your issue is with the system, this wild, wild west, this chaos that is the era of name, image, and likeness. It's a beautiful thing. What's wrong with paying players to play? What's wrong with players getting money to go to certain schools? I don't see the problem with it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, this ain't nothing but chickens coming home to roost. Belated happy birthday, happy heavenly birthday to Malcolm X, whose birthday would have been yesterday. This ain't nothing but chickens coming home to roost. If you're mad about how quote unquote out of control this system is with the NIL and boosters, you know what I'm saying? Chickens coming home to roost never made me sad.
Never made me sad.
In fact, it only made me glad. You know, I'm enjoying this. Because for far too long, y'all have gotten fat and happy eating off of the free labor, for the most part, free labor of these college athletes. And so now if you're upset that you have no governing body capable of controlling this, if you're taking L's left and right at the legislative and judicial level, it's because you never fixed it. So miss me with the whole what's best for the players thing. What's best for the players is to be able to play where they want for however much they can make.
Okay, Mike, so right in so many ways. Now, first of all, can we just start with the analogy that I hear all the time? As if we don't know the rest of the story, right? So the analogy that a lot of people use who want to, let's call them preservationists, let's call them scared, let's call them the old guard, uncomfortable, insecure, whatever you want to say about them. They always say, hey, we're creating a wild, wild west situation. So we're talking about the wild, wild American West, right? So the wild, wild American West, it's the unknown. So we had the Eastern time zone part of the country, and then we started to move a little bit to the Central time zone. So what happened in the wild, wild west? What happened? How did it turn out? Do we have an American West? Do we have a Pacific time zone? We have states out there? Are they functioning states? We have California, right? We have California, Oklahoma, Arizona, Nevada. We got them, right? Are they okay?
Yeah. Are
they reputable states? Oregon, Washington? So Forget about this wild, wild west as if, oh, this is wild situation and it's going to be chaos and it will never right itself. And college football and college sports as we know it will never be the same. So what?
I thought
the other thing I don't like about it.
Real quick, I thought you were going to liken westward expansion and liken the Native Americans who paid the cost for westward expansion to the players who have paid the cost for Nick Saban to be the boss.
Ooh.
There's that too. But go ahead, continue.
Now you're going. Hey, we need to bring in Doc Johnson for that and have a real conversation about that, boy. I tell you, that'd be pretty good. But the other thing is, I look at Nick Saban. So Nick Saban is 70 years old. He's got a freaking powerhouse at Alabama. He's been on top of college football for a long time. And before he had that powerhouse at Alabama, he built one at LSU. He was building one at Michigan State. He's had a good run in college football. He's made millions of dollars. Things have worked out for him. He has sent a lot of guys to pro football. Everything, he's making plenty of money, $9.5 million at least. That's on the books, $9.5 million. Who knows what he gets in endorsements, all these things. So I think really, ultimately, what he's concerned about is what's in it for me. What's it going to do? Yeah. What's it going to do for me? You know what it's going to do, Nick? It's going to create the equality that you're talking about. And maybe it will create an inequality in some ways that you will not be at the forefront of. Like you might be number 12 on the list, number 15 on the list when it comes to universities and boosters and states that have income.
Yeah.
And so I think a couple of things are going on with Jimbo Fisher. One, Jimbo, give him credit. He went at the king. He didn't miss. He didn't miss. Did not. He went right at him. I don't care about the rebuke from the SEC commissioner. Sit down somewhere. We having a fight. Sit down. Don't come in here right now.
This is fun. It's good for the game, actually. Believe it or not, it's good for your game.
Yeah. Please, sit down. Sit down. We don't need you doing like the peacemaker thing. He went at Saban. He wasn't afraid. He beat Saban finally this year. Mm-hmm. The first loss Saban has taken to one of his assistants. He didn't like that. And 3, he's at Texas A&M with the emphasis on Texas. Everything is bigger. They got more than you got. Pockets are deeper than what you got, even though you're at Alabama. And he knows that Jimbo Fisher, his smart assistant with the #1 recruiting class, his former assistant back in the day, has the coaching chops and the political chops.
He's a threat.
To raise more money and get it done.
All of this is about upsetting the established order, okay? And that's why everything is becoming chaos. Because whether it's coaches having all the power, universities and coaches and conferences having all the money, everybody's panicking because their way of doing things for so long that have been so profitable is falling apart.
Right.
It's falling apart, and they can't get a grip on it because they kept putting it off, suggesting, oh, you know what, wait for a more convenient time before we start incorporating players in this money. But I don't want to miss, with the time we have left, I don't want to miss out on Deion Sanders. Because Nick roped Deion into this, and Deion is like, hey, much like Jimbo Fisher, don't call me privately. No, we having this conversation publicly. Okay, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And the wrong person to bring into this is Deion Sanders, because as Deion said, I know where a lot of the bodies are buried, or more specifically, who handed out what bags to whom in my various roles as godfather of the cornerback position, NFL Network analyst, personality, camp counselor, all these different things, cultural influencer, and now as Jackson State head coach. Like, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. You know, like everybody out here having this conversation, none of them should be taking the high ground, acting holier than thou. So Deion was like, look, I don't make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? But what he also observed, he said, not only did Deion Sanders say, I looked at my watch and I got time today, he said, I don't even wear a watch and I know what time it is. He's like, Nick Saban was talking to those boosters. And that makes total sense. Nick Saban was telling those people in that audience in Birmingham, if y'all don't get your act together,
that's right.
Number 2 is the highest we're going to be. Because without y'all doing the booster collective, the NIL collective thing that everybody else is getting in on, we can't continue to do it the right way with equal opportunities for everybody, or not paying players to come to Alabama. But once they get to Alabama, allowing them to make money through NIL, then if y'all don't step up, then the Texas A&Ms of the world may move past us. But I say again, nothing is wrong with these players getting paid to play. It's long been professional sports, regardless of professional football, regardless of what y'all wanted to call it. It's always professional football for everybody but the players.
You know what, Mike? I might be a little slow. I might be a little slow trying to get it. I listened to Nick Saban in his original statement, and I listened to his retraction, and I was like, okay, so where's the problem?
Right. Where's the problem? What's the issue?
I'm sitting there waiting.
What's your
I'm
issue?
waiting for the. It's like sitting at a movie waiting for the smoking gun, the bombshell. Like, oh, aha! Ain't no aha, Nick. It's just you got to evolve. It's like same thing you tell your players. The game is going to present things to you that you didn't plan for. How are you going to evolve? How are you going to adapt? Are you going to succumb to adversity? Or are you going to overcome it? You going to come up with a new plan, or are you just going to stick to what you already know and die? Survive.
He's adapted before.
Survive or die. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.